Y'all wait just a few minutes. I'm watching a movie right now. I don't know what this is even called. What is this called? I don't be knowing. Some movie on Netflix. I've been watching a lot of action films the last couple days. I think this is called Underground 6 or something like that. I don't know. Ryan Reynolds is in this movie and they're doing something crazy with a boat right now. Turn that motherfucker into a magnet and you see people getting knifed up and they out here shooting and bro, this is wild. Anyways, welcome to the Meaningful Jackson Show. I'm your host, Meaningful Jackson. It's Sunday. It's May 17th. We're in for a pretty interesting show, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We are definitely going to, what I feel like has been a long time. We have not had like a mental health type of check-in. What I mean by that is just me kind of like, I don't know, man, just kind of stressing to y'all the importance of like maybe getting some of this shit under wraps. And sometimes when I'm even giving this little speech, I'm usually talking to myself. Tonight I'm talking to someone in my own family. Because this shit getting out of control, bro. It's got to stop. So recently my family has gone through, last couple years we've experienced some traumas, losing a couple people. And it's all kind of fallen in the same exact time frame last year as well as this year. We'll also have like today is my grandparents' anniversary, which is crazy because my grandmother is literally in Buffalo, New York, sitting by herself. She is in good spirits, but life is tough without her husband here. And then I look at the other side of my family where, you know, my other grandmother is sitting at home by herself. Her husband's funeral was yesterday. He passed away a couple weeks ago. Life has not been super duper easy. And so there's somebody in my family who is really struggling with it, with all this stuff. I mean, it is me as well, but not me. This part is for somebody else. I'm surprised that there actually is somebody who's struggling a little bit more than me. But maybe on the other hand, I shouldn't be. And I think some of that is because although this person does take the steps to maintain and, you know, keep their mental health in order, I feel like there's too much slipping up, man. And then it's put my family in a situation where certain people in my family are kind of fed up with this shit. And so, I don't know. It's unfortunate that I'm even going through this, but I need people to understand like why my energy is super weird lately. Because, you know, I have to watch people in my family struggle and want to hurt themselves because they're hurting. You know, I have to listen to somebody on the phone and obviously I understand because I've been in this situation. I'm too pussy to want to actually take my own fucking life. But I've definitely been in that space where you're like, fucking man, I don't want to be here and I hate this shit and da-da-da-da-da. Like, I get all that. My issue with this person is that this will probably be about the 5th time that they've actually tried to follow through. It's putting stress and strain on a few people in my family and people who are not like specifically family members, but people who are close to my family, close to this person. It puts them in a weird space too. I have to sit on the phone and listen to somebody tell me how they're, you know, they hate it here, and I get it because fuck, man. Now that I'm thinking about it, I used to do the same thing to Cheese. She's one of my best homies, and I would end up telling her all the time about how I was struggling dealing with people and how people don't give a fuck about me, and it's the shit that you feel. And obviously, this shit must be in my DNA because this person is super close to me, and they go through the same exact fucking thing. So it sucks when you have to hear somebody tell you, I don't want to be here anymore because I feel like I don't have anybody. Like, but fam, you literally talking to somebody that you have. But I get it because I get in those spaces. And like lately I've realized it more that like there's probably a reason why I'm not as close to people as I'd like to be, because I choose to alienate myself from all types of people. And then what happens when I go through stress and trauma and all this type of bullshit is that I'm sitting there being like, oh, Why doesn't anybody give a fuck about me? Well, you've given them every reason not to. And so I hate it because as much as I want to like get on this person, how I look trying to call them out about their stuff, and not even calling them out, but even just bringing it up, I feel like a fucking goof myself because I do this same type of shit. And it goes into, like, how do you break cycles within your family? And, how do you move past the past? Like, what type of steps do you take to like get your shit in order? And like, it's taken me forever to want to start going to therapy or even seeking the services. And the few times that I did prior to like the last 6 months, how you guys have heard me document on the show, say that I actually was glad that I went to an appointment and I sought the services out, found them, and, looked to take steps to get this shit fixed and corrected. I mean, hopefully, or at least become more mindful of it and be more aware and not repeat the same bullshit ass mistakes as often. That's ultimately the hope. But like this person I'm dealing with, like they've been going for years seeking therapy and all these things. And I'm not questioning whether or not the shit's working, but I question whether or not these techniques that this person is being given in order to keep their stuff in check, is this stuff really that effective? Is this helping this person that is close to me that I care about? It's starting to sound like it's fucking not. And it's getting to the point where when you have to watch somebody self-sabotage and like literally be amongst people constantly and have the opportunity to build and, sustain good relationships, to watch that person almost like low-key squander that shit away, that shit sucks, man. Like, I get it. You feel some type of way. And I know you're going to see this. And I want you to see my face because you and I never seem to like connect to where we actually can talk and see each other's faces. And I know you will watch this and you and I will have this conversation privately. We've had it privately many times, which is why I'm addressing you on this shit. And it's not just to this person, it's to myself about my shit. Anybody who's listening who goes through these type of struggles. And in less than 2 minutes, I got to intro the show on the radio because we're just still on the YouTube for. But we got to get into this. I feel like this stuff needs to be said. So I will keep this short and sweet. Fam, you have to understand that although you are hurting, that you feel some type of way, what you are currently doing, this is not the fucking move. This does you no good. It does you no good to put yourself in a position to where you're trying to leave yourself dead in a home that is shared with other fucking people, so they'll just hopefully find you there and then maybe do something with you. I'm tired of that shit. This shit has to fucking stop. Every day this shit is hard, man. It's fucking life. Nobody liked this shit. This shit sucks depending on how you grow up and in your environments and the things that you have to experience. Not everybody likes this shit, so I get it. At the same time, like, what are you going to do? You got to make the most of it. You know how shitty it's going to be if you end up not being here and it all ends up being because, like, you were struggling, you were having a hard time. That type of shit can get worked out. And you have resources. You have to lean on your resources. There ain't no point in saying that you don't have them when you have them at your disposal but refuse to use them. Also, based on the type of person you are, I expect better because you've been better. You've proven to me that you can be better. So now it's time to be better. Let me intro the show. Holy smokes. Thank you for tuning in, man. We're live on Track Talk Radio. This is the Meaningful Jackson Show. It is May 17th. Happy birthday to my niece, Hira. She's 7 years old. Time to get a job and time to, I don't know. What do kids do when they're 7? They just hang out, kick it all day. I guess this last Friday was like their last day of school, so my poor sister, you've been on quarantine and now you phase yourself right into summer vacation, fresh off of a birthday. I'm sure the household is going to be lit. But anyway, thank you for joining us. Me. But basically what I was talking about before we came on is we're having a quick little mental health check-in, and I'm having to address somebody that I'm close to. And you're probably wondering, why would you choose to do it on your show? Well, because I've done it via phone, via person, multiple times. This has been years in the making. So I want to make a video so that way it's documented and this person can go to it from time to time and review it. Plus, it's not like there's anybody else in here. It's just me. Who knows if anybody will actually listen to this shit? And I hope that they do. That way, if you were going through these similar things, that maybe you hear some of this stuff and maybe it helps you turn it around. Now, I also want you to realize that although I'm being firm, and maybe my tone seems a bit harsh just because I come from the old school, and I feel like after a certain point, tough love has to kick in. At a certain point, it's time for you to grow up, because these are all the things that have been told to me and I have to tell myself on a daily basis. At some point, it's time to fucking grow up, address the problems that you had, and figure out fucking solutions and move on. And I know it's not that hard. Some of the things that people go through are not things that you can just walk away from and forget. I do understand that. I have not survived the same type of traumas that this person that I'm talking about has survived. I fully am aware of that. I understand that. I understand the type of toll it can take on a person's body, years and years and years. I get that. And I understand you just lost a relative. It sucks, but you need to understand that we both lost that same relative. You have other people who lost that relative. They still have found a way to lift themselves up, even if it's only for a brief moment, in order to keep everyone else around them lifted. Usually, you are the person who does that. Now, I understand maybe you're tired or you're exhausted and maybe you need people, but going off the grid and then making bad fucking decisions doesn't put you in a position to where we as your people can actually help you. So I know you watch these shows, but ignoring my phone calls and my text messages for 2 fucking weeks ain't been all that cool. Like, again, I'm doing this because you need the tough love. It's time to press forward. You have to remember who you are, and you have to remember yourself at your strongest, most positive points. Everybody should be doing that. You have to remember who you are, and you have to find ways to move forward. It's okay. It's okay to feel your feelings. It's okay to address them. It's okay to yell and scream and be mad. Shit, if you need to break something, fucking do that shit. But after a certain point, it's time to be like, okay, well, we've done all that. We've cried, we've shed tears, we've expressed our frustrations, and now it's time to look at our solutions and find ways to execute and move the fuck forward. And I'm telling you this shit specifically because this is all the same stuff that you've been telling me my entire fucking life. So it's time to get it together. That's all I'm going to say on this. Like I said, people who are struggling with mental health, I fully understand. I would not want you to think for a second that I'm being dismissive about the things that people go through, their traumas, their stresses, whatever. I totally get that. If you know me, you know I'm someone who is very high strung sometimes. And I am somebody who has had in the past a hard time letting go of the things that I've been through. I've talked about it on the show. Issues with my father, the fact that I felt abandoned, I feel lonely. All these things are real, man, because people are people. We get that. But at the same time, what the fuck I'm going to do? Sit in here all goddamn day and be miserable and like start to hate myself, resent myself, hate the people around me, resent the people around me? Why would I want to be in that? Shit, even now, under the circumstances that we're all in, being quarantined, shit, man. The damn sun was still out today. I still got to see that. Shit, I know dope-ass people who are doing big things and freaking making waves in life. It's dope to see that. Why would I want to miss out on these things? All the beauties of life. This shit is hell, my nigga. We all hate it here. The only thing you can do is do everything you can to make the most of it. And you try to find the silver linings of every situation. This has got to be a glass half full, not a glass half empty mentality. And I've been telling my people that for years. I tell myself that every day. And some days I struggle. Some days I really don't have it together. Y'all seen this shit. If you know me, you've seen it, you've been a part of it, and you've probably been someone who has told me this shit because of how annoying it is to see a person want to self-sabotage everything around them. What is the point of that? So that's the shitty part. Now, here is where we identify these solutions. Bam. You got my phone number, call me. Shit. Even if anybody who ends up watching this or listening to this on the radio, if you need someone to talk to, DM me. I'll talk to you all day. Even if you don't need someone to actually talk, you just want someone to listen. That's what we should all be here for. You can listen and not feel like you have to take on everything that someone has given you. You can just be the sounding board. Shit, man. I do not understand why people are so afraid to reach out to other people. But then you know what? I started to kind of piece it together and I kind of figured it out. It's because we're all selfish little assholes and we make people feel like we're being inconvenienced. We put people in a space to where they feel like they can't ever reach out to somebody. And then we also have versions of people who, when you do reach out to them about your issues and your problems, they end up making it all about them. So I can see why some people are hella hesitant, but at the same time, there are people out there who really want to make sure that other people make it to the next day and make it through the next day. That shit is important. So shit, if you were here today and you woke up today and you didn't choose to try to end the shit, props to you. I'm happy that you were here. I love that you were here. I hope you are here with me tomorrow. If you were thinking about doing anything, bro, there's hotlines that you can call. Like, and I know people say that they don't have any shit. I probably am a complete stranger to 95% of y'all. But shit, if you feel some type of way, DM me, fucking call me, and put it on there. Like, look, I need your help. Specify that you need my help, so that way I don't just brush your message off and let it go to the freaking the general folder or something on IG or whatever wherever the hell this shit goes. I want to make sure that I'm able to provide whatever type of service you guys need in regards to, being a shoulder to lean on and being able to vent. All that shit is important because I know what it feels like to sit here and not fucking have anybody. And I mean that in moments where there have not been people. The nights that have been the hardest were the times that I was all by myself. Struggling, crying, not understanding what the fuck to do. And then floating back and forth between, fuck, do I even want to be here? And I always try to remind myself that shit, man, everybody has it a little bit rough. And there's some people who really go through it on a day-to-day basis, but still find a way to make the most out of their days. And I know you are not everybody else. You are you, your situation. Everything about you is unique. But at the same time, from time to time, maybe you should think like, hey, there are people out here who have it way worse. I know that's the dumbest thing sometimes to think of, but I challenge you to use it as a way to refuel and reignite your fire. And just remember, like, yo, there are definitely worse things, even like in a joking manner. Shit. You could have woke up today and had your whole half of your body bit off by a shark. Like, that could happen, but it didn't happen to you. Like, tell yourself that. If that's something that'll be like, oh yeah, this shit ain't that bad. Find a way to put a positive spin on everything and address your problems as they come up. Don't harbor that shit, hold it in, and then end up blowing up on people later after the fact. What's the point of that? And don't ever let anybody make you feel bad for expressing your feelings. But you also have to understand that practicing control is important. And these are some of the times when I'm talking to myself mainly. You have to remember that stuff. So yeah, I have to issue this challenge to the people in my family as well as issue it to myself. Because we've all been fucking slipping. It's time to get it together. Because this shit is pathetic, man. Fuck, I ain't had no kids yet. I ain't been married. So if I lose this person, they get to miss out on all that shit on my fucking life. If you end up hearing this, I want you to understand how selfish I feel like you're being. Because you're going to end up missing out on all this shit turning up big. Everything about life is about to change for the better. For you, for me, for our family, it's everybody. So all this wanting to like not be here, trying to harm yourself type of shit, you gotta move past that, bro. We don't have no time for that no more. Remember who you are. And you're better than this. Because this is the same shit that you told me. I was better than how I was acting. Time to tighten up. Speaking of mental health and niggas being crazy, let's get into this little Boosie thing. So I want to say this. I want to start by saying you guys need to understand that what I'm saying, it's not a way to absolve him of anything. We're not condoning the shit, saying any of it's right. But I need you to understand what goes on in the mind of specific types of men. Now, I'll say this. On the topic of this Boosie thing, so I've posted about this like on my Facebook where people, rapid fire comment, so on and so forth. Almost everybody that left a comment who really, really takes issue, and I understand maybe they're taking issue with the act of what he does as far, and in this scenario, you're either mad at him because last year or whenever he did this, or maybe he's done it repeatedly, he, set up his 13 or 14-year-old son to get with a prostitute. Obviously, that's questionable behavior. That's a dumb decision. Not ideal for a child to be involved with a prostitute in the early teen years. There's also this thing where he's come out and he's expressed his displeasure with Dwayne Wade in regards to how he raises his daughter, formerly his son. Boosie has taken issue with that. People want to crush Boosie because obviously he makes very questionable decisions in regards to how he parents and how he, carries himself online. Again, this is coming from the guy that literally like 2 or 3 weeks ago was on the internet saying, show me your pussy on IG Live and I'll give you $1,000. So understand who you're dealing with before you decide to be like, take this stance and be like, oh my God, he's just so horrible. Like, my nigga, look. This it's been years of him like doing this type of stuff. If you're just now hearing about this, you're hella late to the party. We all knew about this. So what I'm going to say about this is, again, this doesn't absolve him or condone any of that shit. I'm a firm believer in setting up your son with a prostitute is weirdo shit to me. But I think in 2020, people need to pause for a second and understand that there was a time in our history where setting your son up with a woman to help ease him into the transition of sexual activity in life, that was a thing. And that's the way that men did it, depending on what era they came up in. Some of these people come straight from pimping. You got to understand, a man from the South, a black man from the South, do you think that he has the world's greatest role models in front of him? I want you to be honest with yourself. Think of all the things that you know about a lot of these people. And before you crush and kill them, you have to understand the type of person that you're dealing with. So we're going to talk about him specifically, providing a pro for your son. He literally might have come from a time, when his dad did that for him, or that's how he saw OGs in his hood do things. Does not mean it's right. Fuck no. So again, I'm saying fuck no because you need to understand. I think people took my comments as, oh my God, you're condoning him getting a prostitute for a teenager. If you mother effers really knew me and you knew what I did outside of this radio shit and making jokes on the internet, you would know that I am the last person on the planet who would ever set a teenager up with a prostitute, fam. Because that is how you endanger a child and put their safety at risk. And I'm all about advocating for children's safety. So don't ever fucking disrespect me and try to make it seem like I'm out here saying that Boosie should actually be doing this stuff. What he did was corny. But I want you to think for a second before you go in and you try to crush him for his parenting skills. You need to understand where some of these men come from. Everything is about environment. You can only be as good as the resources that you have and the things that you've been taught and the information that you retain. And once you know how to use and apply the techniques and resources that have been provided to you, then hopefully you make good decisions from there. Now, the part where Boosie has it fucked up is that he's not doing everything he can do to go out, learn the information, educate himself, retain it, and then reteach it to his kids. That's where he screws up. That one's obvious. But what I notice is that there is a lot of women, and especially a lot of white women, who want to go on there and then just say, oh, he's just a garbage parent, and look at him, and how dare he, and he's doing all this terrible stuff. Yeah, probably. Some of the stuff is obvious. But shit, if he was somebody who became a parent without ever learning how to parent, what do you think is going to happen? He's learning on the fly. In a lot of these places around our world, you have kids raising kids. What do you expect someone to do with limited resources and access? Do you expect them to be the greatest of all time with nothing? Do you think any of like your sports heroes or your entertainers, you think all these people without any training at all, without any practice, no reps, no nothing, you think they just showed up and they were all just stars? Do you think that's how that shit works? Do you just get the job because you just exist? No, you go through training, you put in time, you pay dues, you get your reps up, you develop skills, you retain information, you're able to teach it back to other people. You advance yourself, you help advance other people. That's how life actually works. But you also have to understand that there are a lot of places in our world where resources are very limited. And a lot of these people don't know what the fuck they're doing. You cannot just assume that just because a person became a parent that they have it all figured out. That also does not just automatically make them a very strong, self-sufficient adult. None of that shit means anything. Think about this shit. If you end up being a 16, 17-year-old and you have a kid and you grow up in what we deem as a dysfunctional family, maybe there's only one parent in the household, that parent's absent or on drugs or always fucking working all the time. What do you do with the child? And what do you do with the child if everybody in your village is going through the same similar type of circumstances? What do you do then? You do your fucking best. So again, it does not absolve him of any of this. What he's doing is wrong. The way he is catering to his kids and the type of example that he is setting, and his what seems like refusal to actually go out, learn new techniques, put himself up on game, because it's not like he don't have the resources and access now. My nigga, you're rich. Lucy, now I'm addressing you, fam. You have the power and the resources to go out, educate yourself, and break the cycle for your family. The life that you have built and have maintained, especially through the world that it was, which is rap music, and it's, like how they say, objectifying women, and it's drugs and money and cars and materialistic things, all that. That does not have to be the life for your children. And even if it is a life that they participate in, they can still have a life where they understand that it's a very sketchy thing to be provided a prostitute when you're 13 years old. That's not a way to bring your son into manhood. I feel like if you're going to have any type of like sexual talks and trying to bring them into that realm, go out, get some pamphlets, learn about some information, teach them about actual stuff in life. Don't teach them that like, yo, it's cool. Anytime you want to get your dick sucked, you just call a prostitute. And I got 10 numbers in a Rolodex on my work desk. Just let me know. From one papa to his son. You should never have a speech like that with your child. That's a weird thing. And then to like the way he tried to flex on everybody on the internet, like, hey, y'all, look what I did. I just got my son a prostitute. Aren't we so cool? Don't you guys think we're so cool? And it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of people who were like, yeah, Boosie, my nigga. That's right. Daddy of the year. You niggas are stupid, bro. It's 2020. There's too many resources, and I always touch on that. Bro, just go read a fucking book. Read a book on how to talk to your kids. Like, there are millions of people who write things down, and it's their techniques and the things that they use and what helped them to help raise their kids. You can read all of them and then maybe go through and be like, I like this one, maybe didn't like this one, I kind of like some of this one, and maybe mix with this other one. And then you can actually find different ways to help shape the mind of your child without having to restrict them and strip them of their own individuality. They can still have all that, but you don't have to do the things that you're doing. And then also, if you're going to do something stupid like that, you probably shouldn't comment and speak about how it's negative that another man is actually supporting their child. And don't even get me started on D-Wade. My personal opinion about that is, hey, I love it, but at the same time, you get those 2 or 3 claps, and that's fucking it, because you're doing your job by supporting your child. It's your child. Who else is going to support them? It has to be you. So all this, like him and Gabby and them going on TV and all, that's great. It's fantastic. And we appreciate that, especially in the Black community. You're trying to show that it's okay to do these things. We get that and we love it. But my nigga, come on. You don't have to be on The View and then go do ESPN and then go do Vote and then do all these things. You don't have to do all that, bro. You can next time they bring it up to you, you be like, yeah, duh, we support her. That's our fucking daughter. You got a problem with me? Talk to my face. Do that and then cancel it. You shouldn't even allow the media to try to like turn this into a thing for you to where a clown can actually comment and try to make you look bad. There ain't no reason for it. Support your kids in silence. It's easy, man. Some of this stuff, like, these are no-brainers. Don't get your kid a prostitute at 13 and support your child in anything that they want to do. Not very hard. You want to excel at school? You want us to send you to a camp? We'll do everything we can to possibly make this happen for you. That is your job as a parent. It's not your job to be their friend. It's your job to raise them and help build their survival kit so that way they can lead a somewhat normal life. Who knows what normal will ever look like after these last few months? But that is your job as a parent. All this extra shit, it's just corny, man. Like, it's not a cool thing for your son to be able to go to school and be like, yo, what'd you guys do last weekend? Oh, you want to know what I did? Hung out with a prostitute. That's not a cool thing. That doesn't get this young man any type of credit. All that street credit and this and that. None of that shit is real, man. You either get the respect or you don't. And I get it. Things are very different. I had a very different upbringing than what Boosie had, what his kids have, what people from Louisiana have versus where I came from in Texas, and then how different it was when I lived in Florida and shit. Even all the people out here, like I'm seeing how they're commenting. I'm like, y'all don't even come from a place where any of this type of shit is really a concern for you. Unless you lived up on Aurora Avenue, because that's where all the prostitutes hang out apparently in Washington. Seattle, shout out Aurora Avenue. And then listen, if y'all ever up there and you see what a janky ass AM PM is and that Jack in the Box, that's where it'll all be cracking off there. You see all these dusty ass pimps and these dirty ass girls digging in their booties, look like they ain't showered in 3 weeks. That's what it is. But every city has that. You know what I'm saying? Every city fucking has that. But like I said, most of the people out here commenting, let me say this because I don't know everybody. But I would say, based on a lot of the comments that I've seen, and it ain't everybody, it was just some people. Some of these people, although they are white women who date black men, I don't think they will ever truly understand where some of these niggas come from. You're not going to understand how this shit works up here because you're not a man, you're not black, and you didn't grow up where some of these people grew up, where things are very different from your little bubble in the Seattle, Tacoma area, okay? From here to there, all these places in between. I know there are places out here where they have hoods and da-da-da-da-da, and I know some of you people grew up around goons and tough niggas and people that went to prison and blase, blase. Like, yeah, we all know people that did that. We all know that. But some of the people who grew up in those situations also went out and learned information. They learned how to be better. They learned how to do better. And then they passed that down. That's why you see people thriving and you see people rise up and they leave the hood and they leave these circumstances that they're in. You see people who have terrible fucking families, and then whenever they create their own, they're very successful. And some of that just basically comes down to the fact that they want to love and be loved. They don't want to shit on people like the shit that they came from. Not everybody want to deal with that. You got to want better for yourself. But not everybody goes through phases where they understand how to utilize resources. Some of these people really been doing this shit since day one all by themselves. All they know is the same bullshit that they saw. So you're trying to tell this man or anybody that, hey, this not what you're supposed to do. Yeah, maybe that is true. But you're also asking that person to like forget like 50 years of history within their family that tells them that this is how this goes. That's a hard thing to do. So again, we'll go back to the top of it. Boosie's garbage for hiring a prostitute for his child. He's also garbage for disrespecting Dwayne Wade for how he supports his child. Listen, Boosie, even if you feel that way, you still need to understand that other people get to make their own decisions and live their lives the way that they want to. My nigga, you've had that same little high top fade for like 30 years. I don't like that shit either, but it's your choice. You get to do that, right? And people still support you for it, right? Maybe you don't like the way Dwayne Wade parents, but that's his problem. That's his family. Let him raise his family the way that he wants. If his kids end up becoming murderers or they're bad, horrible people, you know whose fault that is? That end up being between him, his wife, and those kids, and how they make decisions and how they were taught to make decisions. That ain't gonna be your problem. But it is your problem when you hire your son a prostitute and then try to use it as a flex on Instagram. I still can't believe my man did that. Like, yo, I got my son right here. Yo, we didn't get Jay-Z for his birthday. We got him a prostitute. Now he's lit. Like, my God. And then I'll also say this. Just because somebody likes to look at situations not just on the surface level, does not mean that they support the bad parts of whatever the situation is. Some of us actually like to have all of the facts so that way we can make an informed decision. You want me to give you my honest opinion about situations. You can't just tell me that I'm only limited to just seeing what you saw on the IG, which is him bragging about the prostitute thing or him hating on the parenting thing of another man. Like, you have to kind of look at all of the facts and all of the different variables that come with every situation. And I know you're probably, well, why don't we do that with everything? I know, man. And it's a slippery slope. You have to pick and choose your battles. For me, I'm only giving my 2 cents because people were really disrespecting me online, which was more funny than anything. But to have somebody say, oh, you must be somebody that's, all for kids being sexually abused. My nigga, you know how many times I've called CPS on like coworkers and families of kids that I've worked with? Are you fucking kidding me? You think that I'm somebody who's like is cool with that shit? Like, yeah, hell yeah. Fuck them kids. Yeah, let them get abused. Fuck no. We don't want that shit happening. Are you kidding me? No kid should ever have to endure any of that shit, especially from adults. Jesus Christ, no. You know what's really crazy? Why are we not mad at the prostitute who took the money and then went in the room with my man's son? I don't hear nobody saying nothing about her, but why is that? Because you already think she's trash because she's a prostitute? Fuck, man. I'm sure there are people who are prostitutes and then were propositioned in that manner and we're like, well, no, it's a child. Why would I do that? You can still have sex and make the money and not be a fucking scumbag. So keep that same energy for the person who went in that room and fooled around with that small child. That is the person that you should hate. And then Boosie second. I don't know. Maybe he's first because he did call him. Yeah, him first, her second, and then him again. Just because. Like I said, I'm tired of that haircut. My nigga is too. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he loves that shit. I don't know. I can't really hate him. I'm trying to keep the mood light. But honestly, Boosie, you're kind of a scumbag. But only for the fact that you have made some very what we deem as questionable decisions in regards to your children, but then took it upon yourself on multiple occasions to take shots at Dwayne Wade in regards to how he parents his children. That is why you were corny, my friend. That and the prostitute thing. That doesn't need to be said. You should know that. Like making that phone call, just the phone call alone. How do you not get the fucking creeps by thinking, hey, you know what will be good for my man's birthday? He has no idea. This is gonna be crazy. Hold up. Hey, yo, Shanice, you still doing your thing, right? Yeah. I need you for something. Come on through. I'm gonna give you the details when you slide through. And if you show me your pussy, I'm gonna give you $1,000 on live. Okay? Bet. I'm gonna see you in 15. That's probably what he did. That conversation alone should have made you throw up on yourself. You should have thrown up on yourself and maybe wanted to throw yourself out of a 5-story building for how bad of a bonehead decision that was. Hiring a prostitute for your son? Jesus Christ. What is our world coming to? All right, man. Let me get off my soapbox about Mr. Boosie. But I just wanted to make that clear because people were trying to come at me for that. I'm like, bro, don't come for me, bro. Nick, I don't want to let nothing happen to your fucking kids. And I don't even know them. You let me know somebody messing with your kids. See how quick I come running, bro. I care more about the kids than I do my own fucking friends or family. Everybody who knows me knows that to be true. You want to know why? Because I was one of those kids that was horribly treated and fucking abused verbally, physically, emotionally, all this type of shit. You think I want kids going through that? Hell no. You better check yourself before you come for me. Because the next time, and I'm dead ass serious about this, next time I will pull up on you. We'll have only a conversation, but I will pull up on you, especially if you were local. Because some of these people disrespecting me, y'all niggas stay down the street. You acting like I won't put in about 10, 15 minutes worth of work and come find you. And then that way you can tell me to my face that you think I'm somebody who supports sexual abuse on minors. And then see how you feel when I give you this explanation. You can look at me in my eyes. And then I want you to still tell me that shit after you see the work that I did. You hear my fucking credentials and you hear how passionate I am. You think I really want nasty ass foul shit like that happening to kids? All because I left a comment that just asked you guys to dig a little bit deeper than what's just stuck on the fucking surface? I'm asking you to open up your brain a little bit more and just think. That's it. So don't disrespect me over that. I really don't like being called. No, that shit was not cool at all. And of course, it is all disrespect. That type of shit was coming from these corny ass fucking white girls on my Facebook. You bitches can kiss my fucking ass with your Karen having ass haircut loser. I want to talk to the manager, sorry ass having asses. Or whatever I just said. Fuck out of here. Ooh, I'm turned tonight. All right. Let's get into some funny stuff. You know what? You know what's crazy? Growing up, I was always told when you do public speaking to try not to use slang and, don't use slang. I try to use proper grammar, enunciate, speak up, remain firm in what you say. And I feel like it's weird that I would know that, but Donnie wouldn't know that. Your man really is on TV talking about we got a super duper missile. I never thought I would ever hear a president say super duper. And I know it's the dumbest shit ever, but I still in my head was just like, we're literally dealing with one of the dumbest humans on the planet. But how crazy would it be if in like 10 years a book comes out and it's just like, yo, all of this shit was just for shits and gigs. It was all a joke. I was just goofing off with y'all. Like, how mad would some of y'all be if you found out that he was just like, you know what, man, I just really been coming up here every day, just bullshitting, just to piss y'all off. I bet people would hate that. But I feel like that book would sell probably more copies than the Bible. That comedy special, he'll sell out stadiums. I still firmly believe that if Donnie really wants to, there is a career for him in comedy after this. Everything he says is so fucking dumb that it's funny. And it's just funny because there are people who are like, yeah, you heard what he said? Fuck. We're going to get everything we want out of this, especially now that Trump's here. Fuck, bro. I'm just fucking tired of it. And now that we got brother Trump in office, we can do whatever the fuck we want. And it's going to be funny when he comes out and it's just like, yo, and you know what? To all my supporters, man, fuck y'all too. I'm surprised there hasn't been like some leaked audio recording where he just is on tape being like, yeah. And do you see those people buying those fucking stupid ass hats that I made? Can you believe that niggas really will wear that? I only wear it just to be in the photos while I'm golfing and shit. And then I fucking throw that shit on the ground and take a shit on it. And people were really wearing that, repping that shit like it's a, look at these stupid motherfuckers. Did you know that's how people are? I bet he does talk like that about his own people. Because this dude does not take this serious. But I don't take him seriously either, so we weren't going to talk about him long. I just thought it was funny that my man is literally in an interview and he just said super duper. I thought that was really strange. Never thought I'd live to see where a president would do that. Real quick, I noticed that, okay, so I don't follow Johnny Depp. I have heard off and on about how they tried to banish him because they thought he was an abuser. And now it turns out that all of that shit was fake and that he actually was the one being abused by his ex-girl. His girl, I guess, is the chick that's in Aquaman. It hasn't been 100% confirmed yet, but maybe someone can text me and let me know otherwise. But I guess she has been let go from the movie or will be let go because now they got evidence and all, like an audio recording of like her faking injuries and like saying that she was going to set him up or some shit like that. This whole shit is crazy. And I know one little thing like this doesn't mean that every girl is lying. That's not what I'm saying. So don't even try it. Don't come for me on this. But what I will say is that I think something like this is really going to strike a chord for change. Not that it needs to, because I still think you should look at every guy should, you know, I don't think it's wrong to question of the guy and be like, yo, my man, maybe did you, you know, because honestly, there's a lot more of us being garbage to women than I think there are women being garbage to men. None of it's right. You shouldn't be garbage to anybody. You should treat everybody with love and respect. But what I would say, you see the cases more where the abuse is man to woman rather than woman to man. But I also think that because, you know, these are high profile people and we all witnessed how Hollywood tried to blacklist them or blackball them, they did something black to him, whatever you want to call it. We saw how they tried to do him like that. And now I think we're about to see this happen to this girl. And I think it's going to start to set a precedent where I don't know, man, at least in like the higher ranks. I think, you know, in regular civilian life, the balance won't shift much. It'll probably still be the same. But I think on a higher, you know, like a higher scale, like as far as these entertainers, all this type of stuff, I think a lot of these girls might think twice before they try to like pull these stunts, because this shit can come back to haunt you. Apparently, my man has been dealing with this case for upwards of 3-4 years or something like that. It could go back even further than that. I guess he was with this young lady. Things seemed cool, then all of a sudden shit went south. They said he lost a half of a finger over this shit. Like she threw something at him and it like sliced his finger off or some bullshit. And then I guess she was like on a recording or something to do with his finger. I don't know. Maybe not wanting to like send it with him to the hospital or try to keep it. I don't know, man. All I know is, look, some of these girls out here are a little bit turned, and a lot of these guys are a little bit turned too. Pick your partners wisely. Also understanding that you're never going to see all the signs right away, but be cautious of red flags. Don't allow anyone to put you in a situation to where you're being defamed and people disrespecting you and like wanting to call you an abuser when you're not. You kind of do feel a little bit bad for Mr. Depp, because he's not a terrible actor. He's obviously had some crazy success, but I think he lost out on a lot of big roles because he was labeled as an abuser. And no, I mean, obviously he probably could have retired then and it was all copacetic, but at the same time, like if he has a love and a passion for his job, which is acting, and then all of a sudden he wasn't going to be able to do that because of these faulty allegations, like you potentially put my man's, his life at risk. Like just in a sense of like, if you lose a job, like, money starts to, dry up, and then that can hurt your psyche, and then you end up in a weird place. And this all kind of stems from this girl trying to set him up. And like I said, guys do that shit to girls too. So we need to still point everything out. If the shit happens, we need to address it and we need to deal with it accordingly. Nobody should be above the law in these situations. But I just think as far as like major recognition, you're seeing a situation where we tried to crush Buddy, call him all these types of names, and then you're finding out that it's like, yo, fam, this shit is not real, and this chick was lying this whole time. I wonder why she felt like she needed to do that. And what is she going through that like put her in that type of space to where she would want to harm somebody that she loved? You almost want to wonder that about everybody. I mean, some of these people are just shitty people. We know that. But like you still wonder like what's a person's motivation. Like there was a post that I put up today and it said something jokingly like real men don't leave good women or some shit like that. It was more, I guess the person's trying to say it's more so of like, women kind of like drain the guy or I don't know, it was some bullshit. But then people were commenting, they were like, well, no, obviously, it is like, it's not just one-sided. Men are shitty, women are shitty, people are just shitty in general, blase, blase. But Steph left a comment. She brought up a good point where you do have guys who find good women and they get, all taken care of, and like they're good people. They treat you well, like shit. You guys might even, move in and you have kids together and do all this. And then she put on there something to the effect of, niggas will lie and cheat and abuse, and then they'll leave, and then they'll try to come back. And then they'll try to, be good for a little bit, and then they'll convince you that everything is straight only for them to go do that shit again, which is crazy. So, like, again, it's just a cycle that we're all in life where for some strange reason we have people that walk around and they're okay with, hurting people and putting them in those compromising positions. And then, making it seem like it's not a big fucking deal. So, again, in this case with Mr. Depp, like, shout out to him for, being at least what I would assume is, he didn't go overboard or let this shit, like, completely break him. Because I know he had still been doing some movies. And, I think he's still, people still fuck with him. And I think his career will have a definite resurgence, especially now that you're starting to see, like, yo, she was fucking lying and all this type of stuff. You just hope for her sake that she's able to, get what she needs out of this situation. And I don't want to just say, oh, well, she needs help. And even if I was to say that, I wouldn't mean it like, oh, you need help. Like, you're just crazy. Nah, but like genuinely, like if she feels like she's not cared about, or Maybe she, you know, feels like she's not being heard. Hopefully she can get, I mean, she's probably going to go to prison, but hopefully after the fact, maybe she's rehabilitated. She can get around some people that she feels like will actually take care of her and provide her with what she needs. That way she doesn't have to do these types of things in order to receive the attention that she wants. That's what you hope for, but we'll see. All right, man, let's see. What else we got? We're almost breezed through the first hour. We might not be taking any music breaks today. So within the last few months, Tiger King was the best thing smoking. That was a big deal. If you watched that, you saw how that played out. Everything about that shit was weird. Everything. I can't think of one thing on there that was normal to where I was just like, oh yeah, this is just like a Tuesday. Like, because there, like, you can kind of get a sense that, like, for the most part, most of us kind of do, like, we'll go to a job and like maybe we exercise, we eat, we hang out with friends, family, like do that type of shit. But like my man Joe had a tiger farm and then was like married to 2 straight dudes, and then there was another guy who had like a rival type of thing, and like he had a bunch of tigers and shit, but then he also had 5 underage wives or girlfriends or something. I don't know, man. And then like this Carol lady is trying to hate on Joe, but then she's doing the same weird stuff, and she got a body under her, or maybe she fed her husband to the tiger. No, not maybe, nigga. She did feed her husband to the damn tigers. And then you got this other nigga who comes in to try to help Joe, but then really is trying to like finesse him. And the whole time I'm tripping off the fact that he's a white dude wearing a bandana with a hat over the top, like he's going to like a Saint Lunatics concert in 2002. You know how we used to wear the do-rag with the fitted over the top? Like he looked like he was going to do that. The only thing is he's wearing an Affliction shirt. And that just confuses me because no one cool has ever worn Affliction. So Buddy was on there on some different type of stuff. And then like he hired a nanny and then made some comments that really led you to believe that after his child was born with this lady, he probably was going to fuck the nanny. And she was just kind of being like, yeah, I'm cool with it. No, bitch, you're brainwashed. You're brainwashed into thinking this dude who actually looks like Carol's original, who was it? Like her ex-husband or something, like the first husband she had. Tell me why that dude with the freaking do-rag and the hat on looks like that, but apparently maybe there's no relation or connection at all, but somehow he's all involved in this shit. Bro, this shit was weird. But anyway, sorry I'm recapping Tiger King. I just forgot how crazy it was. Apparently, the filmmakers who made this docuseries are also going to do a new project that will be based on Siegfried and Roy's 2003 tiger attack. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know a ton about this. I just remember that one of these people got bit by a tiger that they worked with. They're circus performers. And I think recently, this actually just last week, Roy had died. He passed away from coronavirus. He's 75 years old. So RIP, shout out to my man. He ended up passing away, which is super sad. But apparently, this says that a new project will focus on the 2003 attack when Roy was mauled on stage by a white tiger during the show. The accident left Roy partially paralyzed and ended the pair's run. God damn, I didn't know that. Buddy was left paralyzed from that. That's crazy. And they ended up passing away. I'm interested to watch this. I don't know, man. I don't want to feel like I'm becoming one of these people that's just always just watching all these weird ass tiger series. But at the same time, maybe this shit will be interesting. You kind of get a look into like what happened. Like I said, I don't know much about these people, but I think they were like circus performers, and their acts where they use big cats and animals and all this type of stuff. And I guess in 2003, one of the tigers was tired of dealing with Buddy. And then he, turned up on him. It happens, man. Listen, you keep animals in cages and then whip them and then try to get them to do tricks, at some point they will rebel. I don't understand why, even in the history of our entire earth, why humans have felt like they needed to cage animals and humans, and then they act so surprised when these animals and these humans rebel on them. They don't want to be locked up. That's why. They don't want to be abused. That's why. When you're disrespectful, people are going to go crazy on you, and animals will do the same damn thing. You should not be shocked by that. But I will tell you something that is super shocking, very shocking. So shout out to Steph. Steph sends me this link on IG the other day, right? And I'm like, oh, what's this? Probably something funny, of course. And it is something that's very hilarious. It is a page that is strictly for posting things when there's Karen activity present. And so it's videos of these ladies complaining of, food and Starbucks and this and that and freaking the fuck out, calling people names, doing all these things. It's shit that like you would think is like hella funny, right? But when you add a page and then you start to see their content pop up all the time, now all I'm seeing is videos of these people being hella disrespectful. And I ain't gonna lie to you, it started to make me feel a certain type of way, because it's crazy the amount of entitlement that some people have. Let me recap just a couple for. I'm gonna give you 2 Starbucks ones, which is crazy because you white girls get so mad when we all call you bitches basic and we make fun of you for only wanting to be at the damn Starbucks. Yet you guys are always caught on video complaining about Starbucks. You know it's just a drink, right? You're complaining because you're opting to pay $7 for some fancy fucking drink that you don't need. You're always in a rush because you won't wake up like a few minutes earlier to get all your shit done and get prepped and ready to go to make sure that you have time to get your coffee. And you're always pissed there's a line at the Starbucks. You think you're the only motherfucker that wants some goddamn coffee, bitch? Come on. Anyway, so this first video I'm watching, this girl who's working there, she's lucky she must have her phone propped up on the counter. She looks like she's like 17 years old, maybe. Probably her first fucking job working at the Starbucks. Being friendly, smiling. She's telling the lady, I'm sorry, ma'am, but I put non-fat milk in it. She knows what their stock is and what they have, right? She knows that because she has the fucking apron on, which lets you know when you walk in that she's an employee, because everybody else doesn't have a damn apron on. She tells the lady, hey, I'm sorry, I put non-fat milk in. You can hear the lady becoming increasingly frustrated. I get it. Maybe you tasted it and it tasted funny, but hey, maybe they switched brands of milk. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but from time to time, I've noticed that different brands from these milk companies, sometimes the shit tastes a little bit different. It ain't by much. It's not significant. It's not the same as when you drink regular milk versus almond milk versus oat milk, but you can kind of tell sometimes that maybe the taste is a little bit different. Shit. Maybe the shit was getting kind of old. I don't fucking know. But either way, this girl looks like she's in high school. She's doing her job. And you see this lady literally get upset because the girl's saying, ma'am, I'm sorry, I put non-fat milk in. And she throws her drink at her. You're demanding a free drink because you're mad about your non-fat milk. You think the employee deceived you and put different milk in your cup, and then you opt to throw your drink at her. Lady, I want to throw my fist at your freaking forehead because of how dumb that is. So we go to the next one. I'm literally scrolling this and I'm like, oh, this shit is crazy, man. Because when I go out, I'm the type of motherfucker that'll be like, hey, can I please get this? But if it come back different, I'll just be like, you know what, man? One time, listen, if I order a drink, I always say no ice, right? If I have ice in the cup one fucking time, a handful of ice cubes not finna kill me. Finish the drink and then ask for it again and say, hey, may I please have this one with no ice? If they do it again, then maybe you're like, hey, I'm sorry, I don't want to be a pain in the ass, but I did ask multiple times just for no ice. If it's not too much trouble, can I just get a drink with no ice? And you can do it in a very nice tone. It doesn't have to become a thing to where you're like making this person who is working there and providing you a service. You don't have to make them feel like they're less than you. Shit, you're dealing with another human. Never in the history of humans have they never ever made mistakes. That's not how this shit goes. So shit, man. Maybe you order a Dr. Pepper, they bring you a Coke. You want ice, they put no ice in it. It's okay, man. People are busy. They're doing a lot of stuff. Like, there should be some exceptions, some allowances. I understand if it's repetitively bad. But if that's the case, all you have to do, leave a comment on your way out or speak to the manager. But also, you as the patron, you need to be okay with what the business tells you. Don't go into I pay your salary and God damn, fuck this place. I'm never going to eat here again because y'all won't give me free chicken strips. Fuck. Don't do no shit like that. I'm going to blast you on Yelp. And I'm going to tell all my friends and family to never come here again. We'll never eat at this establishment. You know how many people do that? And you know how many times the business don't care, my nigga? Listen, Ann in Ann Arbor, Michigan, do you really think you're going to shut down the entire corporation that is Applebee's? Because when you did the 2 for $20, maybe the salad wasn't as crisp as you'd like, and you ordered blue cheese, but they gave you ranch. And God, don't you just hate that? When you order blue cheese and they give you ranch or vice versa. Ann hates ranch. And now Ann is about to morph into fucking Karen all over the blue cheese versus ranch thing. And now she wants the entire establishment, the whole company shut down. Or like I saw a video on there the other day. This was crazy as shit. Think about the time we're in. Lady walks up to a grocery store, right? Before she can even walk up to the person who's standing in front of the door to let customers know that, hey, you need to wear a mask, but also is out there cleaning the carts so you can have a clean, sanitized cart. Before you even walk up, there is a sign. And the first rule on the sign, it says, all customers as well as all employees are being asked to wear a mask while in the store or they will not be permitted entry. That's pretty simple, right? Well, fuck, man. I got to do it because the staff are also being asked to do it because it's for everybody's safety. So Karen walks up and buddy out front, super nice. Hey, I'm sorry. I hate to inconvenience you, but due to our circumstances and under, the laws of the establishment or the, new rules of the establishment, I can't permit entry unless you have a mask. First thing she does, I want to talk to your manager. And he said, oh, yeah, no problem. Smile on his face, everything. Goes and gets the manager. Now I get it. She had some specific things. Maybe there was a condition. I think she mentioned something. And the guy who's the manager came out and did try to help her. Hey, we can always shop for you if you would like. Oh, what am I supposed to do? I have to give you my debit card and have to watch you walk away and then swipe my card? You want me to give you my card? What am I supposed to do? And he's literally saying, ma'am, we can shop for you, or you can just wear a mask. Well, I can't wear a mask because my doctor says that if I wear a mask, I won't be able to breathe, and then my lung might collapse. I don't know if she said that, but how whiny she was, everything that she was saying, I was like, it's just so dramatic. Maybe she's going to say her lung will collapse if she has to wear a fucking mask. Here's also the thing, Karen. Online delivery exists. Instacart exists. Fuck, you probably could pay one of your neighbors to go buy you fucking groceries. So, of course, she's out front getting all pissy. Well, I have a condition. I'm not going to give you my debit card. Oh, my God. How unfair is this fucking place that they won't let me in? Da-da-da-da-da. And then she was getting mad because Buddy out front was dancing, having a good time, trying to make the most of his day. And then she tried to sun him by saying something about his job. She's like, oh, do you like this? You actually like doing this? And he said, well, I'm a bartender. And my alternative is that I don't work. This is providing me the opportunity to work. You're literally trying to give my man a hard time when he's just out there doing his fucking job. His job was to enforce the rules. You saw the sign when you walked up. Lady, literally everywhere across the nation, across the fucking world is being asked to wear a mask when you walk into an establishment. You're really out here trying to give people a hard time because they're asking you just to do your fucking part. You're going to be in there for a half hour. You can't wear a mask for a half hour? Come on, man. Come on, man. It don't make no sense. Of course, she demands the number to corporate. And I love it that the guy just said, yes, ma'am, no problem. Went in, grabbed the card, wrote the number down, handed it to her and said, yes, man, here's the number for corporate too, right? He pointed it at it too. She said, well, what is your name? And he goes, oh, I'm John, or whatever his name was, some white guy name. Shout out to White. And he said it quick. And I like the way he said it. Like, yeah, go ahead. You could tell him it was me. Because all I did was enforce our new policies and procedures, which is what I'm asked to do because it's my job. You want to come to this store to buy groceries, you need to wear a fucking mask. No disrespect, white lady, but you're not the only motherfucker in here. Wear your fucking mask, Karen. Jesus Christ. The other one is just a small clip from Starbucks. You can hear the lady in the drive-thru laughing as she's recording, buddy. And because of what she has done, you can tell that he's been degraded and disrespected, and you can see where he's about to lose his fucking mind. He's crying still. Hands her a card. He says, sorry, we didn't mean to inconvenience you, blah, blah, blah. And she got to end up getting a free coffee for it. And I wasn't even mad at him for the way he closed the window and slammed that shit. My man was in tears. Like, how shitty are you as a person that, like, you have nothing to do better than to go to an establishment where people are providing you a service, and then you want to sit there and you want to berate them and treat them like shit. Call them names and fucking all this type of shit. What is the point of that? It's pathetic. So I don't remember what the page is called, but it's some page where it gives you nothing but bullshit about these Karen type of ladies. Bro, I tell you, it's hilarious, but it also was like putting me in a space where I was ready to lose my mind. All right. Shout out to my man, Jay Cabs is in the chat. Jared, sorry, I was looking at the notes, not looking at the chat. Let's get into Ludacris versus Nelly. So on my other show, which is my podcast called Starters on the Bench, on Friday, I talked about Nelly and Ludacris. I also have watched recently the evolution of hip hop or hip hop evolution. I never can remember which way the words go. I don't be knowing, bro. So I will say this first. Ludacris definitely won the battle. If you didn't have a chance to watch it, I watched basically the whole thing. The best part of it was the comments. The comments had me dead because there were people with the blue checks next to their names or the white check with the blue thing, verified. These people were verified. And when Nelly was playing all this unreleased music that he had, everybody who was in there thought that shit was ass. Now, on my podcast, this is what I said about Nelly. And there were people who heard this and they said that I was being crazy, off the wall, disrespectful. But I want you to understand, the only thing that I said or that I did that was disrespectful was the way that I laughed when I said this. But I actually am treating it as like a respect thing. But you're going to hear what I say and then you're going to be like, oh, that's shade, that's disrespect. No, it's not shade. Go with me. So when they originally set up Ludacris versus Nelly, you're probably thinking, oh, that'll be lit. But this is why it wasn't lit. And even if Nelly wouldn't have had so many technical difficulties, whatever the case may be, the music is just not comparable. You have a rapper, a guy who is a rapper, versus a guy who is an artist. And I'm only saying that because most, if not all, of Nelly's biggest hits are just their songs. You're not looking at it like, oh, he has crazy flows and rap verses. Country Grammar had a dope flow, had some good verses, but like one of the hits that he played was the song with him and Tim McGraw, Just a Dream. Was he rapping on that or was he singing? Let's see. My Place with Jaheim. Was he rapping on that or was he singing? He had a couple of them that he played where he was rapping. He spit flames on the Rick Ross record with Avery Storm, whatever that shit is called. Now I'm blanking on the name. But he killed that. Here I Am. That's what it was called. He killed that. Obviously, he killed the verses on Country Grammar. And then he did his thing on EI too. But if you look at a lot of his songs, the whole time, Nelly's not rapping the way Ludacris is rapping. He's singing but putting flows together. There's nothing wrong with that. Nelly's still dope in his own lane, but I think the battle was not a thing that was like a good matchup. I mean, come on, bro. It'd be like, oh, who's the greatest of all time? And you only have two players to pick, and you pick LeBron versus Damon Jones. It's obvious, right? Let me stop. Okay, but so here's my deal. This is what I said about Nelly on Starters on the Bench podcast, which is every Friday on Twitch from 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Not specific, Pacific. All right. And don't freak out. So I said that I thought Nelly was the MC Hammer of the early 2000s. And I know that sounds crazy. And when I said it, I started hysterically laughing, but only because I was fresh off watching a little documentary, and I was thinking about Hammer and how he was dancing in the pants and the vest and all that. But this is the deal, and maybe you go watch the little Evolution hip hop Evolution. I'm just gonna say both of them because I never know which one it is. But if you watch it, they talk about MC Hammer and how he is regarded. He's an innovator. He changed the game in some respect. These are all things that you can also say about Nelly. The one thing that people tend to remember are two things about Hammer is that he wore those stupid fucking pants and that he went bankrupt. And so I think when you hear MC Hammer and you would say about a new rapper now, or Nelly is newer than Hammer, you would be like, oh, that's disrespect, that's shade. Bro, I don't think that it is. MC Hammer was great for his time. He changed rap to some degree. He was able to go out there, perform, dance, and do flows and sell. He did crazy numbers, so it's not disrespect. But they have MC Hammer listed as a rapper. He's just an entertainer. Nelly, they list him as a rapper. Nelly can rap. Don't get me wrong. His songs are dope. He has songs where he raps wonderfully. And there's other songs where he does this like hood singing thing. And he does it wonderfully. And he can make hits. That's why he sold so many that he has sold. So it's not disrespect. It's just me being honest. If you were asking me who is a better rapper, Ludacris or Nelly, it's Ludacris. It's not even fucking close. I can't remember the last time I actually heard Nelly like spit real bars. And I mean that without like singing the shit. Like I'm talking about like I don't feel like I've ever heard him just go in and just be like da 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 ba ba da da ba. No, it's always like just a dream. I don't want to hear that shit, bro. Now I will say when Nelly dropped that Is You record, that shit's fire. And he has raps. I'm telling you, there's deep cuts on Nellyville where he's spazzing. Shit's fire. He has cuts on the Country Grammar album where he's spazzing. It's fire. It's not disrespect. It just was my opinion. I feel like Nelly is a great entertainer, but I do not think he's a great rapper. I think Chingy can't outbar him. I think Jaquan can outbar him. And I know people are going to watch this thing and be like, oh, this nigga shouldn't be on TV because everything he's saying, he's stupid. It's just my opinion, bro. When I listen to Nelly's raps, I be listening to other people and be like, their verses are better. Literally, Ludacris was playing his verses, just verses. And Nelly was playing whole songs. And Luda's one verse on like R&B features was killing Nelly shit. You know how embarrassing that was? That's because the battle was not an appropriate battle. Nelly was outmatched from jump. And don't even get me started on the nigga's Wi-Fi, bro. Nelly got the worst Wi-Fi in America. Him and Teddy Riley, shit wasn't working, bro. And then at the end, my man didn't have no audio. And you know what? It just looked convenient when Ludacris started throwing on some of his like real bangers. All of a sudden, Nelly's shit wasn't working. Like, bro, if you would have put that Band-Aid on your face, you probably would have won that shit. But anyway, I think I would have rather seen Ludacris, Busta Rhymes would have been a good one because it's similar. You look at how crazy the visuals of their videos were, their rhymes. They both can spit fast. They can rap slow. They have records for the ladies. Let's see. I know Snoop has been talking. He said he'll go at Jay-Z or Busta Rhymes would be a good one. The Jay-Z Nas one I think would be good. I mean, obviously, Jill Scott, Erykah Badu was super dope, but I just think the Nelly versus Luda one, it was dope to like see them both and like hear some of their old hits. But like if we were actually looking at who's a winner and who's a loser, this shit was obvious. Bro, when Nelly played the unreleased tracks, when I tell you the comments in that chat and the amount of verified accounts that I saw basically being like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? Or this is ass or da-da-da-da-da. It was crazy. I never thought that I would see that. And it was like all the civilians were like, no, this is great because we love Nelly. And like, you know, there were girls and they're like, oh my God, look at his biceps and da-da-da-da-da. But then people were like, yo, this music is trash. And like the way he like tried to sell it was like, yo, oh, I see what you did there, Luda. I see you in your bag, baby. Let me give you this stadium heat. I'm going to drop this banger, da-da-da-da-da. And he played some records where we were all like, bro, at one point, I was watching the viewer count just like fall. Now, at one point, they were like at like 145,000. And I think like Nelly played a record and that motherfucker just was like 406,000. I'm like, God damn. And nobody want to hear that. Overall, though, this shit was dope. I liked it. I think the engagement was dope. Luda was crazy. They were both giving props. Shout out to Nelly. You know, he was saluting the healthcare workers, saluting all the graduates. And it was dope to see them as grown men who have both been in the game for 20 years. Like they're both celebrating 20 years in the game. They both dropped rookie albums the same year. And I think that is the thing that is the most dope, is that they both were able to be here for 20 years, both had successful careers. Listen, I know it always sounds like I'm just hating, da-da-da-da-da. No. What I'm doing is I'm commenting on the event. We're talking about the work. We're making some jokes. But I think you can still pay respect. And I know some people try to be like, no, you can't make a joke and then shade someone and then try to prop them up in the next sentence. Yes, the fuck I can. I just did. And won't none of y'all do nothing about it. Because some of you niggas have projects, whether it be music or movies or sports or whatever the fuck it is that you do, and some of that shit isn't hot. And that's okay if you make a trash project or do something that's trash. It does not mean that you are a trash person. You know how I know that? Because I don't know you. Some of you are probably wonderful people. That's okay. But some of your shit is not that good. I'm sure Nelly is super dope. Everybody loves him. Everybody probably loves him. But some of those songs were ass, and that's okay. Go back to the drawing board because you know that you can make a hit. You know that you can do all these things. Maybe some of the stuff you're putting out now is not that good. It is what it is, not shade. My MC Hammer comment about him was not shade either. I really think Nelly is that level. If you actually see Hammer for what Hammer was, Hammer is one of the greatest of all time. Just in the sense of how he came in, he created like his own type of swag and all that shit, which is exactly what Nelly did. He came in, dropped a fire rookie album, sold crazy ass fucking records, started charting like it was nothing, and then his career took off. The only difference is that Hammer made some very notable mistakes that ended up leaving him with no fucking money. And I don't know if Nelly's been in that position, but I don't know. I think most people, when you think of MC Hammer, you're thinking of some like corny shit. But like, bro, and maybe those baggy ass parachute pants and the way he was dancing, maybe it was corny, but that shit changed pieces of hip hop forever. And it allowed a person like Nelly to come in. He comes from St. Louis. They barely had any sound coming out of it, at least relevant. There wasn't nobody that was popping mainstream and selling albums and then touring all over the world and doing all that shit. And even if they were, it was very low level, small scale stuff. Nelly came in, put a city on the map, changed everything, created a lane for Chingy, created a lane for the Jaquans of the world, like all these people. And yeah, he didn't invent the shoe, but he revolutionized Air Force Ones. Him and Rasheed Wallace. I will always give Rasheed credit. And I probably should give Rasheed credit before we give it to Nelly, because Rasheed was wearing Air Force Ones forever in a day before Nelly came in. My man had his own little emblem on the side of them things. All the high top ones is all Rasheed Wallace, baby. Got to give him those props. But the same thing, like I said, Nelly and Rasheed Wallace, man, they put Air Force Ones on the map. They're just in my opinion, because I wore my Air Forces originally because of Rasheed Wallace. And then hearing the Saint Lunatics make the song made it cool to go out and get more and wear them without feeling like, yo, am I the only kid at the school that's wearing these? No. And I went to a school where it's mostly white people. They're looking at me, calling my shit bummy and all that shit. And then Nelly drops this song, and then all the white kids are wearing Air Force Ones. That is revolutionizing the game. But Nelly, your unreleased music, ass. That battle that you were in on Saturday, Luda killed that ass. It was bad, my G. Gotta do better. But like again, shout out to Nelly and Luda being legend, 20 years in the game, killing. That's not something you can disrespect. That part is not something that can be disrespected. But his unreleased music definitely can be disrespected. That shit was terrible. So don't be on the lookout for Nelly. All right. We're done with Nelly versus Ludacris. What else do we got? Okay, so I did a story last week, like a couple of times. I talked about the state of Georgia and how, based on coronavirus and all the things that we're kind of going through, they were like, yo, we're going to have to start having people just do their driver's test online. And then as soon as they did that, you had all these teens get their license. And then immediately the state was like, you know what? We fucked this up. We're going to go ahead and go back to the old school. And now you got to take a test. Thank you for doing the right thing. If you would have done this and then tried to claim that this shit was successful, it would have led other states to also take these stupid chances. And then you're likely to put 20 to 25,000 new drivers every couple of years onto the road. And these are people who don't fucking know what they're doing, especially if they don't actually have to take the test in a vehicle to prove that they know how to drive the vehicle. That shit is dangerous, bro. And you think when they leave that DMV, when you hand them that license, they drive everywhere. So eventually, if all the states started doing this, we would have more and more accidents probably, because some of these kids, it's not even necessarily that they can't drive. You got to remember, in some of these states, you might be dealing with a 16-year-old, and that person's nerves may not be all the way tight. And you never know. A semi comes up too quick and they don't notice it. They panic and they swerve right into another lane where there's a mom in a van with 3 or 4 kids in the back or some shit like that. That is the type of stuff that can happen if a person has never driven a car and then you hand them a license and then their parents hand them the keys to something. It could be that bad. So yeah, maybe that seems crazy and it's an exaggeration, but hey, anything is possible. All right, so Georgia did that. Yo, Netflix is wilding right now. I feel like they have new content every hour. I don't even know how that's possible, but I think they just dropped new content right now. Refresh your shit, and you probably just saw something new pop up. That's what Netflix is doing. They got the Jeffrey Epstein documentary called Filthy Rich coming out soon. When is this dropping? Let's check it out. Let's see. I just need a date. That's all I want is a date. Set to premiere on Netflix on May 27th. So if you know anything about Jeffrey Epstein, so this is a gentleman who he was a billionaire. And I guess this documentary is based on the 2016 book called Filthy Rich, the billionaire sex scandal. So it says the shocking true story of Jeffrey Epstein, co-written by James Patterson. The trailer gives you a glimpse into how Epstein went from a so-called Gatsby-like figure in the banking and finance industry to a convicted sex trafficker. It features testimony from some of his survivors who say that although Epstein is dead, he had help, and they hope that through the doc's release that those people can be held accountable. This is a quote. You took our freedom and now we're going to take yours. One of the women promises. I ain't gonna lie. When I watched the preview and she said that, she kind of scared me. And only in a sense where I was like, yeah, girl, go ahead and whoop these niggas because they had this shit coming. Apparently people was not acting right. And like, they're really thinking that this documentary is really going to like put some people on notice. I've talked on this show many a time about how Priscilla and I, we discussed like this letter. And in this letter, it talks about and they outline how they plan to take down all these sexual predators. And a lot of that comes off the backs of this Epstein stuff as well as the Harvey Weinstein stuff because they were all connected. Apparently, there's all types of people connected to this. And you're talking about people who have significant power and access within our country and our world. Entertainers, actors, finance people, politicians, big business owners, like apparently there's just like this whole thing, and they're talking about upwards of 150,000 people maybe involved in this type of stuff that apparently he was connected to. So I think this documentary is going to be crazy, but I also think you're going to see people come out, they're going to speak their minds, and then they might come up missing 6 to 10 months from now. If you believe that this man hung himself, that should give you kind of like your clues as to what some of the people that he's snitching on are capable of. Even the person who produced this could potentially be in trouble because this is supposed to unearth this crazy like sex scandal type of stuff. So I'm excited to watch this, man. It's going to be interesting because I don't know a whole lot about Epstein other than that he was hella rich and that he was probably very heavily involved in a lot of abuse that happened against a lot of people. But that's the stuff that everybody knows. So May 27th, Filthy Rich will drop on Netflix. And of course, I will have many shows surrounding this documentary series. I'm assuming it's a series or maybe it's just going to be a movie. It says series, I think. Yeah, it says series. So this will be like we might have weekly updates on this. Or, obviously they're going to drop it all at once, but I will not watch it all at once because that's just not what I'm going to do. All right, man, let's see. We got another half hour. What else we got on here? So I thought it was interesting that in a time where it seems like we have nothing going on, I feel like people are trying to make shit go on. And so I always love when I hear stories of like, you know how celebrities like pretend like they're bothered, like, oh my God, the paparazzi, TMZ, all these people follow me and then they harass me, da 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 da. It's always funny when you hear of like former employees or people that work closely with these celebrities and they tell you like, yo, fam will literally like call them and be like, y'all finna leave the house, be out front, snap photos. And they like walk out like, oh my God, like don't take any photos. And the whole time they set that shit up. And you know what? Listen, if you need to have your picture taken in order for you to stay relevant, do you? I get it. I'm not really surprised that it's these people because outside of the husband, the wife literally doesn't do anything. She's not famous for doing anything. You obviously know who I'm talking about. So, Kanye West's former bodyguard says he had to follow ridiculous rules and says Kimye, that's both their names together, for those of you who didn't get that. I love that it's Kimye because it really just sounds like this new, like a dish at like a Japanese restaurant, Chinese restaurant. No disrespect, but that's what it sounds like. Let me get some kimye. You want the spicy? Yeah, 3 spicy. I'll take it. So Kimye calls the paparazzi on themselves. So former bodyguard is spilling all the tea about his life helping the Chicago mogul as he opens up about the ridiculous rules he says he had to follow. Steve Stanulus, the former bodyguard of Kanye, so not Kimye, just Kanye, sat down for an interview with the Hollywood Raw podcast and detailed his experience working for Wes. This guy is also a former NYPD officer. And this is right when I read this, I'm not taking this shit serious no more. And Chippendale's dancer. Why was that part relevant? Says Wes would instruct him to stand 10 paces behind him on any street. So obviously, if someone is going to come up and do something, by the time I try to run up and prevent it, it would have already have happened. I mean, what's 10 pace? A pace is feet, right? 1 foot, 10 feet. I mean, you gotta be kind of. I mean, that seems a little unreasonable. Maybe like 6 feet. You know, five. Split the difference. 5 feet. He also discussed a time when Wes got upset with him because he didn't know what floor they were going to when they got off the elevator. He now says Ye has become one of his least favorite people to work with over the course of time. The first day I met him, it was Fashion Week. I was supposed to meet him at the studio. When he gets there, we get into the elevator. He says, "Aren't you going to push what floor we're going to?" I was like, "I have no idea what floor. It's my first day." So he starts ranting. And this is in quotes. So you mean you didn't call ahead to find out where I'm supposed to be going? And I guess he said, no. I'm only laughing because I could imagine like if someone said some dumb shit like that to me, I'd be like, no. Why would I know that? I barely knew to come here. Why would I know that? So he's ranting and raving. He says, so look, bro. And I guess like they kind of go into it. I'm not going to get into all the stuff. Apparently this is, so he's releasing a book or some shit like that. Or I guess it was on a podcast. I'm sure there will be a book at some point. That's pretty funny though. I know that people, they make a lot of money. They get really big. Business moves really fast. Sometimes people are very aggressive. I've supervised people before. I've definitely been known to be extremely tough. But I'm also somebody that is tough because I'm willing to do everything that I've asked you plus a half. Because that's what I feel like a good supervisor should be willing to do. And so also with what comes with that is like you have to kind of show people the ropes and you kind of have to guide them. If I have a staff who shows up on the first day, there is not one thing that can happen throughout that day where I would ever look at them and be like, why didn't you know this? If it's your first day, how the fuck would you know? Also, who would he have called to be like, well, where is he going? Now, obviously, if he knows that he's going to be working with them, maybe on the phone call when he finds out he's getting the job, he probably can ask like, hey, can you guys shoot me an email with some specifics, an itinerary, agenda, blase, blase. Yes, take it upon yourself to maybe go the extra mile. But the second you ask for that, if they don't grant your request, then what you can say to them is be like, well, when I requested this information, it was not provided to me. I didn't want to not show up. I still showed up on time. And so now I'm here. And then at the same time, this human, regardless of who you are, what your status is, getting mad at somebody for not pushing the button on the elevator because they have no fucking clue where you're going, that is some bozo shit. So this is just another reason for us to feel some type of way against Kanye West. If he's really treating people like this over petty shit like that, maybe there's a reason why he's not well liked. I'm now at this point, I'm not surprised. But that shit is crazy, bro. And now I'm wondering how much of the shit is real versus how much of it is fake. You're never really going to know unless you were there. I'm sure that Steve Sondalis or Standalis, whatever his name is, versus Kanye, Kim, and Courtney, and Chloe, and Chris, and Bruce, and Caitlyn, and all of these, there's just so many people, bro. Like, this one little bodyguard, he's going to end up having his, all of this stuff will be crushed by these people. Or what they'll do is they'll fork out some large sum to get him to either retract his story or shit. Maybe these people are powerful enough to maybe make this nigga come up missing. I don't know. I hope it's not the latter. That would be crazy. But I'm sure at some point they will come out and they will discredit this dude. That probably won't be hard. I don't know why the article felt the need to add on the detail. Yo, he was NYPD, but he was also a Chippendale's dancer. Just in case you were wondering. That's not relevant. I didn't need to know that. Now I'm having a hard time trusting what his motivation is. Because now I had that at the beginning, because you always have to wonder, why are these people coming out after the fact and saying this? Why are they disgruntled? Is it real? Is it not? But when they add little details like that, that's the type of stuff that'll make people go, oh, well, I don't want to listen to anything he says. Because they're going to be like, well, why does that shit, matter? Why should it matter? It probably doesn't. I don't know. All of this shit seems really sketchy, but it also sounds very believable based on the type of person that we all know Kanye West to be. So I want to keep an eye on this, because I'm going to be interested to know if something ends up happening to Buddy, or if maybe Kanye comes out and says, fuck this guy, or maybe he's like, yo, I messed up. I want to be the bigger man, apologize. And then I want to donate Yeezys to everybody on the planet. And then when I get my pair, like stimulus Yeezys, I'm going to flip them hoes. Anyway, let's see what else we got. We got a couple more things, and then I'm throwing the music on, and I'm getting the F out of here so I can take my black ass to sleep. All right. Let's see. So on my last show on Thursday, we had Ombi drop by, and her and I were chopping it up, and we were talking about all the crazy stuff. But I did not get a chance to talk about Breonna Taylor. Breonna, my apologies, young queen. I'm so sorry. And my thoughts are with your family, with your boyfriend, husband, whoever this gentleman is in relation to you. If you don't know, you should have heard by now, Breonna Taylor is a young lady who hailed out of the Kentucky area. I think she was an EMT. I think she was about 26, 27 years old. And then last week, cops decided to enter her home, maybe looking for somebody else. They didn't announce themselves. They came in the early hours of the evening. She was asleep. Her boyfriend, her husband, he woke up. He heard the sounds of what he thought were burglars. So obviously he did the right thing. And I want to make this very clear. He is a black man who has no record, had a permit to carry the weapon, and was reacting to somebody breaking into his home. He shot at the police, and now he is potentially going to do prison time for attempted murder on a cop. And they killed Breonna. So we now have another situation where cops have entered the home of somebody, and it was not even the person they were actually looking for, which so confuses me in 2020. This is how I know that they probably did this shit on purpose. How in the fuck do regular ass people on their phones have GPS that literally takes you directly to your destination, and then you fucking bozos are trying to execute a no-knock raid and you go to the wrong house? One of you didn't just pull out your smartphone and GPS it? Come on, man. So you either all are a bunch of fucking screw-ups, or you killed her on purpose. And I think it's the latter. Because there's no way that in 2020, especially after the Amber Geiger situation, there's no way that police departments are really being this fucking careless while they're at work, right? Can't be possible. Can it be? Yes, it absolutely can. And it's either that they're horribly careless, or they really, really went out of their way to kill this girl. And now her boyfriend apparently is potentially maybe going to go to jail for the rest of his life, which I hope the fuck not, because how is it that you can end up maybe doing time for the rest of your life for shooting at what looks to appear like it's a burglary, breaking and entering? You have a permit, you're allowed to defend yourself, blase, all these things. And now my man might end up going to jail. And it reminded me of these situations that I think I've talked about on this show early when we first started. They had these situations happening in the state of Texas. And I don't know if they still do, but they had Buddy literally on death row because they went to execute a no-knock raid at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. They broke in through a window, didn't announce themselves, and the nigga shot the guy who came in through the window first. He's on death row or maybe they're recommending the death penalty. Excuse me. When they did the original thing that I read, this because it's like a year or two ago. I don't want to phrase it wrong. It's not on death row, but they were recommending that he receive the death penalty because he shot this cop coming through the window. Black guy did that, right? Same state, literally the same situation. The guy whose house was, getting broken into was not black. He shot the cop coming in, and they didn't do anything to him. I need to find these cases so we can bring them up and I can read them on the air so you can get all the full details. But think about how crazy that is. That cops can really just decide that they want to go into your home, and you, not knowing that it's law enforcement, you can defend yourself within your home, but if you defend yourself against the cops, then you have to go to jail for the rest of your life. And hey, to add insult to injury, your girlfriend, maybe your wife, whatever she was to you, doesn't matter because we don't give a fuck here at the police department, but she's also dead. You know how crazy that shit is? Or how crazy it is that a bitch went into my nigga's apartment and killed him and then tried to play it off as like it was some accident or she felt threatened or blah, 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 all these things. So for those of you people who are still walking around saying, well, there's no way that law enforcement or our government would do these things to, come on, man. Stop being so damn dumb. This is how this shit be happening, bro. It's how it happens. Breonna Taylor, RIP to you, my young, beautiful black queen. We are saddened that you are no longer here with us. You deserve better. Your boyfriend, he deserves better. He doesn't deserve to be in the predicament that he's in. And also not have you to be there to support him. He doesn't deserve to go through that. You did not deserve to be killed for absolutely no damn reason. These police officers, nothing probably will happen. And I know that you probably would look at me and be like, well, goddamn, nigga, you got to at least sound like you're hopeful. Like, yeah, man, I want to be hopeful. I want to be hopeful. But look at the amount of times that this type of stuff happens in this damn country, and look at how many times things actually happen. How many times do you actually see the cop or the freaking person who commits this crime against our people actually go to prison and do the time that they were told that they had to do based on the law and based on the same type of fucking rules that they lay on us? How often do you see that? If you guessed never, you were correct. I mean, shit, even with the Amber Geiger situation. Yes, she got convicted. We all celebrated that shit. And then fuck, you start to see all these dominoes falling. All of a sudden, the key witness turns up dead. And now all of a sudden, they're appealing her sentence, which that's going to be easy to do considering that the victim and the eyewitness are no longer there to testify. You just have to hope that they're still able to use the person's testimony because now he's no longer here to go back up there and repeat that she went into the apartment and killed him for no reason. It's mighty convenient, wouldn't you say? Look at the lengths that they will go to protect their people. You don't think that this is going to happen in this case in the state of Kentucky? Come on, man. Attempted murder charges for defending yourself while somebody breaks into your home in the early hours of night, pitch fucking black, you can't see nothing. You hear glass breaking. You hear all these crazy ass noises, and you know that it's only the two of you in this house. You start hearing movement. What the fuck do you think you're going to do? If you are armed and you have your permit, you got it for this reason, to protect you and your family. And that is done, except your family is not protected because it's not just one intruder. It's multiple intruders with multiple guns, firing multiple shots for no reason. And now we have a family who's devastated. They never get to see their daughter. They don't get to hug their sister. They don't get to hug their girlfriend, their future wife. They don't get none of that shit because these niggas are careless and can't do their jobs correctly. I'm still very confused how you go to the wrong home. You use this, and there's like a thing on there. You type as long as you have the numbers, you type the numbers into it, and then it'll start talking to you, and it'll actually direct you to go right to where you requested to go. That way you don't make mistakes and go to the wrong house. So, any of you police departments looking to boost your technology, maybe use the GPS on your cell phone. I don't know. Were they looking at like a fucking map or something? Maybe you got the houses confused because on the map, like one is bigger than the other. Or like, I don't know what happened. How does that even happen? Like I said, I'm not hopeful that anything will be done. If anything, I'm not even going to say what I was about to say because I feel like if I said it, I would be very wrong. And I don't want to do that. But I want to acknowledge the thought that I just had. I thought it was over the line, and I apologize. You're never going to hear what it was, but I'm going to apologize because I wouldn't want that to happen. But I do want justice for this family. And however that ends up being served, it is what it is. We'll live with the outcome. But I hope that there is justice served, no matter how we come by it. Don't do anything stupid, people. All right. RIP Brianna. We will hopefully, I know we say this every time, but we're hoping that your case will be used to make the most noise and be the example to hopefully implement the change that we need. We were hoping that for all of the past victims. That way, the next ones would never occur, but it's just not that simple. So it's shitty. She didn't deserve that shit. But now the way we can honor her is we can hope that maybe her case and the heat that surrounds this, hopefully it'll burn some of these motherfuckers enough to where they'll be like, look, we have to do differently. That's what I'm hoping for. But again, this is America, so it's not likely. All right, man, it's been real. I'm going to turn the music back on Track Talk Radio. Thank you for listening to me rant. Shout out to my family. Everything is going to be okay. We'll pull through this together. We are a team. We are a strong team. We're all survivors. We're all probably supposed to be dead years ago. Every day that we're here, we're exceeding expectations. If you are in my family, you remember who you are. You are very strong, fully capable, and you are the best of the best. And so we will continue to push forward. Shout out to you. I love you all. The tough love was necessary. I don't take that back for a second. And no, I do not feel bad for addressing it on here because I will address you in person like I have many a time. It's no hard feelings, just is what it is. But anyway, everything's going to be copacetic. We're going to be cool. You're going to be cool. You have my love. You have my support. You let me know what you need. And the same thing goes for all of my fans, everybody that's listening, anybody who watches this, even if someone who's never even seen or heard me ever in their entire lives. Maybe you're going through something that's crazy and you need someone to lean on. Yo, DM me. I'll talk to just about anybody. I have no reason not to. Let me know how I can support you in your efforts. Thank you for tuning into the Michael Jackson Show. We're going to get into this music. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. It is what it is. I'm going to close out because literally this song is long enough to go the entire rest of the time. I'm turning on the Slaughterhouse BT Shady 2.0 Cypher 2011. It's Eminem, Slaughterhouse, and Yellow Wolf. This is the Michael Jackson Show. I'll be back on Tuesday. It's lit. All right, man. Well, Jared, you were the only one in the chat. Shout out to you, bro. Hope you're doing well, man. Jared's my guy, man. One of my actual friends in the Seattle area. I fuck with Jared. He's a dope guy. So shout out to him. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. If you end up watching this, be sure to like and subscribe. Do all the things. Pass this around to your people. If you feel like people need inspiration, motivation, even some tough love. There was a lot of all of that within this show. And there were some jokes too. And I did some cool voices. Because that's just what I do, man. I'm an entertainer every fucking day until the end of time. So y'all stay up. Hopefully you and your family stay healthy during this time. Be respectful of people's spaces. Also understand that you don't have to battle everybody when you're out in public. Don't trip if somebody asks you to wear a mask. 30 minutes, 40 minutes of your time at the grocery store wearing a mask ain't going to kill you. All right? You probably could end up getting killed by messing around, being a dick to the wrong person, all because you're upset because you have to wear a garment on your face. It's not worth it. So just do the right thing, man. Everything will be cool. I'm going to see you guys on Tuesday for show. Stream is over. I am outie.